Well, you're watching Superskum.com. This is Carlos Reale. I'm here with Joel Grind from Toxic Holocaust, who's actually going to give us a few minutes to bug him with a few questions. So, hey, welcome to Superskum.com, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
Basically, it's a pleasure for us to be here interviewing you. Thank you so much. And, we're going to start with the question, of course, from the newest album, Conjure and Command. It came out last year. You are basically on the second tour of the second leg of the U.S. tour. You did a winter tour before. Now you're here doing May and early June dates, and then in August you go to Europe.
Yeah.
So basically, the usual, like, how has the tour gone so far? Has been the fan reaction to the new material and to the tour itself? Give us a little insight about that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the past few tours have been great. For this record, we specifically decided to pick our battles. Like the record before Overdose of Death, we kind of just wanted to get our name out there. So we did a lot of touring, maybe, I don't want to say too much, but it was just, we just wanted to get the name out there and make sure that people knew who we were. But for this one, we kind of sat back and, the first tour we did, which was right when the record came out, which was last summer, we just did a headlining tour, and we did the U.S. and Canada, and then kind of like backed off a little bit. And then we waited for the English Dogs tour to come around, and we're big fans of them, and we knew that would be an awesome tour for us. So we did that one. And now this one, we're touring with our friends Midnight, that, definitely one of my favorite bands that are currently going right now. They're awesome, and I think everybody's going to, the people that have already seen the tour have basically said this is the tour that, we've been dying to see, so I'm pretty excited about it, and the fan reaction has been awesome.
Your last few albums were released basically 3 years in between. It's just the time that it took for the release. You have said that you were writing some new material between these two tours, the winter one and then this second U.S. tour, leg of the tour. Can we expect new material, a new album, before 2 more years from now, basically?
I would say it would definitely be a shorter time period in between this last one and the newest one that's going to be coming out. It's just one of those things, because of how much touring we did for the last one, there really just wasn't enough time to write and record stuff, But this time, like I said, we've been picking our battles a little bit more. There's a little bit more time in between tours. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more frequent now with records and stuff. But, yeah, I got the stuff I've been writing is kind of in line with, all the past stuff I've been doing. I'm not going to send any curveballs anybody's way, I just staying true to our sound, but, not remaking the same record over and over, but...
Good. So we can expect an earlier release. Hopefully.
So,
hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but
we won't hold you to it, but it's good news for the fans, of course. Basically, at the same time, the band officially started in 1999. You had your first demo, Radiation Sickness,
yeah.
Basically, and was that the original start of the band with those specific songs, or did you take anything away from Grave Mistake? And you were also, sorry over here, you were on The Rapist, but that was more of a punk band than anything else.
Yeah.
Did it come, some of the material for the demo came from those two bands, or was it, that's how it officially started for Toxic Holocaust, for example?
No, I mean, the start of Toxic Holocaust was definitely, when I started in '99, it was definitely a fresh start. I wanted to do something thrash metal. I mean, I grew up, like, since I've been like 12, listening to thrash and stuff. But the bands that you mentioned earlier were, more punk stuff. Like when I was in my teenage years, I played in a lot of punk bands, and there just wasn't a whole very big metal scene where I was from. A lot of the people were more into punk, and I've always liked punk too, just as much as metal. But yeah, when I started this band, I definitely went in the direction of I want to make a thrash metal band, And at that time, to be honest with you, there wasn't very many thrash bands going in 1999. It's just death metal was there and black metal was there, and it wasn't,
especially in the U.S.
Absolutely, yeah. So definitely had that in mind. So it wasn't reusing any material or anything.
And then you have Phil, your bass player, and Nick, your drummer. Are they official members of the band nowadays?
They're official, man. They're official. You know, when I started this band, it wasn't my intention to be a solo project. It was out of necessity, you know, and it was kind of, I just had the passion to do this music, you know, and unfortunately I couldn't find other people with the same mindset as me. So, you know, from the punk rock spirit, do it yourself, man. It's if you can't rely on other people to do it, you got to do it.
I mean, you even went on to record in your bedroom. Are you kidding me? It's like
first 2 records, you know. It's funny, once you know, when I signed to Relapse actually picked up those two first records, you know, just as licensing. And I always laughed thinking it was funny that, you know, how far it came. You know, I recorded those in my bedroom, and then the label actually is releasing those, and you can get them in the store. You know, it's cool. You know, it's just. But when I was recording those, you know, none of that stuff ever crossed my mind. I did it because, and I still do it because I love it. You know.
Any future writing or any musical collaborations in the future, as far as like these two now permanent members in the group, or any other collaborations of, you know, guest pretty much musicians in future albums, or you actually being a guest on somebody else's band's albums, and anything in the works that you can tell us about?
You know, I always have stuff in the works. You know, I've been writing a lot of music lately that isn't really for Toxic Holocaust. It's just for me personally. You know, I just had this like burst of creativity like the past, you know, a few weeks before this tour, and I kind of just went off and just wrote all this stuff. But yeah, I got some offers actually to write some music for a movie actually coming out. So yeah, so hopefully you know, if all goes well, can't really divulge too much information about that yet, but I don't want to jinx it either. So but yeah, I got offered some stuff for that, so hopefully that goes well. And you know, I just kind of like always being busy with something.
And along the lines, you know, you have very marked apocalyptic, you know, Armageddon lyrical themes, of course, but not limited either to a little bit of the theist satanic, you know, undertone as well. So you know, just for the fans, the typical question would be like, what is the inspiration, or what is the message behind the lyrics, and why write that? No problem with it, of course, but I'm just saying, what would be your explanation of why you write that? What is the message?
It's kind of weird. When I grew up, I kind of, for some reason, I was always kind of drawn to that kind of horror movie aspect, kind of like post-apocalyptic aspect of movies and like books and stuff. I don't know what it is. It's just like a dark streak that, you know, runs through me or something. I just am drawn to that stuff. I think that stuff's cool. And you really can't, I mean, with this kind of music, what are you really gonna write about? You know, you know, the birds and the bees and shit like that. It's just, you know, it just fits the music, you know, and you got to have that kind of like the aggression and the, you know, everything combines, you know, with the music and the lyrics and stuff, and it's like a total package, you know. But I think the reason why I'm drawn to like the more occult stuff is just because it's really interesting to me. Like, especially with this new record, I kind of went in the direction of more being like about the history of the practices of the occult throughout the years. I'm not saying there is a devil or there's a god or any of that shit. I'm just saying there were people, you know, back in the day that were like actually like into that stuff, like sacrificing and risking their lives to practice that stuff. And I find that interesting, you know, when it was way more extreme to be into that stuff, you know, to be like practicing that.
Before it was nuke the cross, now is I am disease. Yeah. So basically a nice progression there. Yeah. But so it's more of a personal interest theme basically, or is it more of a pretty much a creed? You believe that will be part of the end of the world, that Armageddon will be like that? What is a little bit more, you know, deep into the message, the lyrical message of the band? And it has progressed from the first album to the fourth album. It's a lot, actually. So is it still something that's just a personal fascination, or it's more of just going into the occult, but that type of apocalyptic occult? Like, how would you actually phrase it?
Basically, for me, it's definitely because of the interest is there, but there's only so far you can go with the devil's really cool, you know, like you got to kind of go, if you're going to keep with that theme, you got to kind of go a little bit below the surface of just, you know, that kind of shit. And, you know, for me, I do find it very interesting. So I wanted to, you know, I was reading a lot of stuff about the history of that, and I wanted to bring that to the record. It just adds a different, you know, adds a different element to it, you know. I also went into some, you know, even like Greek mythology type stuff, and, you know, witch burning, stuff like that. Just, I don't know. I find it really, really interesting. But at the same time, like the post-apocalyptic stuff, I've always found it fascinating. Like the more technology advances, the more people have the power to like basically fuck everybody's life up. You know, the more power people have, and the more technology advances, the more dangerous people can be. You know.
Because we have irrational firepower at this point in society, basically.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Now, keeping the same thematic about the lyrics, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, protest groups, religious protests were in their heyday. Basically, now, thankfully, they have... Yeah, thankfully, they have at least calmed down a little bit. But along those lyrics that, you know, your band has, have you experienced any issues with censorship? Have you experienced any issues with, you know, concert protests or something like that in any way? Emails, you know, there's parental groups, there's religious groups, there's so many different groups nowadays, actually. But have you been, you know, a victim of censorship? Have you experienced any type of issues stemming from the lyrical messages from Toxic Holocaust?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have. We played a show in Nashville at a place called Rocket Town, and strangely, we didn't know it was like kind of like a religious run place. We were on tour with a band called Black Dahlia Murder, and you know, we played this tour. We did this tour, and we played this place that was actually run by a religious group, which is pretty funny. But the people in Nashville were, I think it was either Nashville or Memphis, I can't remember right now, but the people, I guess that maybe the people that take their kids to this place, you know, the parents and stuff, big protest. I mean, it was on the news. You know, we got some pretty good coverage actually from that, and they actually helped us out, you know, by protesting it. But the cool thing that I thought was that the actual religious group that ran it didn't cancel the show and didn't bow to the protest. You know, they were like, I think it's cool to, you know, to see that not all religious people are so close-minded. Like a lot of them are, you know, and I don't really have a problem with what anybody believes in as long as it doesn't infringe on me.
Of course.
You know, and it is nice to see that, you know, the stuff that we do can still shake people up a little bit, you know, and it still can have some shock value. Because, you know, for me, I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe in being told what to do by anybody, you know. And I think if you are going to go on a religious thing, I think you should do it for yourself, not for what other people tell you to do or what's right or, you know, any of that stuff. So I think it's cool to find out that, you know, not everyone's so close-minded when it comes to religion. So
no, it's a good thing.
Nice,
yes,
yeah.
Of course. And along the same theme, you know, one band that, you know, we talked to you before the interview that has experienced a lot of censorship in their lifetime. And this is more like, well, you are wearing their shirt right now, which is perfect. You covered one of their songs, one of your albums. You were actually, when we saw you in Denver, you were pretty much doing sound check, singing some of their lyrics. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, the mentors, this is, by the way, of course.
Did you say donkey dick on that one? Yeah. That was a tour jam.
So there you go. So basically, how much of an influence have the mentors been to you and to Toxic Holocaust, the band, your writing? Specifically, just them, because you seem to be a huge fan.
I love the mentors. I mean, I think they're, you know, I think they're a great band. I think they're, you know, definitely... they didn't give a shit about anything, you know, and I think that's cool. I think that's, you know, that's commendable to have a band that just says what they want to say and does not give a shit about it.
They did have one of the most offensive lyrics ever, but they were highly enjoyable as well. But so as far as the influence there, I think, is more just, you know, showing you that you can
basically fucking just do what you want, you know? You don't have to do what people tell you to do, you know? Music is, you know, an expression of whatever you want to fucking say. It does, even if, you know, I don't agree with it, you know, you don't agree with it, whatever. You can say it, you know? You can say it.
And along the lines with, you know, the style, for example, and the influences, we have that basically, you know, thrash metal is somewhat coming back a little bit as a subgenre of heavy metal in the U.S. at least. But at the same time, you know, you're a very original thrash metal, even though you can clearly hear the punk influences, of course. It's awesome, by the way. And then, in my opinion, you can hear a lot of old school Creator and Venom, which is really good. You add a little bit of the black metal element to it, which makes it a very, very good product, of course, and very good material. So you think basically right now, being an American black thrash, you know how it is, there's so many labels, but I even heard blackened thrash metal band. Do you think you're one of those bands that are carrying the flag for metal, for thrash metal, at least here, and, you know, of course you have an international audience as well, so?
You know, I never really thought about it like that. We just kind of do what we do, you know, like, you know, I really believe in what we do, and I think, you know, I think it's cool that people are sort of, you know, getting off on the fact that we're bringing that stuff back, you know, but it wasn't like a conscious thing, like, you know, to be retro or anything like that. It's just a good style of music that I think, you know, deserves to continue. You know, I don't think because the only reason shit dies out is because, you know, the fad ends or whatever, you know, and it doesn't have to be that way. You can still, you know, I don't give a shit how many records we sell. I mean, the thing is, it's like, especially in today's like musical climate, like the record sales are just going like this, but I mean, we're still doing it, you know, because even if we get to the point where no one comes to our shows, I'll still be recording stuff, you know, and putting it up on the internet for free. Who gives a shit? You know, it's not about the money or the, you know, I don't know. It's not about like trying to be on top of, you know,
for metal, yeah,
that kind of stuff. It's more about playing what I like to play, you know.
And for metal fans like us, you know, even if we're in bands or not, it's the love of music. It's the love of our music is just unique, so it doesn't go away.
Once that passion ends, then it's time to do something else, you know, because people can see it. I mean, you know, it's funny, you spend so much time building your name up with a band, it's hard to let that kind of go, you know, but I mean, if you're not feeling it anymore, it's kind of, is it really fair to people buying your records, you know, and supporting you? Not really, you know.
How do you see the band appealing to those different metal fans that we have? How do you see the band appealing to black metal fans, black metal, yeah, basically, and then thrash metal fans? I mean, how's the crowd? People that you talk to, people that, you know, you meet after the show, etc. How do you see that nomenclature of different fans? Because sometimes they don't get along, you know, between themselves, and, you know, sometimes, oh, this is just too soft, this is too hard, etc. But you have a good mixture of attracting a lot of fans. Is it working, especially with the younger generation of fans? How's it going with that?
It's pretty cool. I mean, our fan base is definitely mixed, for sure. We have guys, you know, you'll see a guy with a mohawk and a fucking Discharge back patch standing right next to a guy with, like, you know, a Satyricon shirt, or, you know, just, it's definitely like a cross, you know, section of fans. And that's the way we like it, you know, because we like all kinds of stuff. And I think the elements of our band, you know, we do have that black metal tinge and, you know, some punk and everything, you know, and it's not a thing to try to get all these, like, people, you know, so we can, like, you know, be huge, because a lot of people from those genres that are into those genres don't get it, you know, like, because they're too much into this or they're too much into this, so we're not enough of that for them to like it. But those people that are a little bit more open-minded to other styles of music, they kind of, and that's the kind of shows we like, because everyone comes out and has a good time. There's no standoffishness, there's no elitism, you know, none of that shit. It's just, we're here to go see some energetic music.
And along the lines of what you just said, what's your general impression as far as the North American metal scene over here, in comparison to many other places? Of course, some are just have more popularity, others don't. But at the same time, what are your general impressions, or in comparison at least, as far as the metal scene goes in the U.S. or North America for that matter, because you've toured Canada as well?
Yeah, it kind of, the thing that's strange about North America is that it's so up and down. We could do a tour right now that's, you know, all the shows are close to sold out, you know, people are coming out. Then all of a sudden it'll just drop off, and then there won't be as many people next time, or, you know, people have moved on to something else. And that's the only thing that kind of bums me out, is that it kind of goes in waves, you know. When you go to Europe, it's just, people are so diehard about metal there that they are your fans for life, man, and they just will wear their denim and patches and stuff till they die, you know. And it's cool because you feel really appreciated over there and stuff. But here you definitely get the pockets of, you know, Texas is always really good for us. California is really good for us. You get that kind of feeling that you get in Europe because it's just that, you know, true, you know, stuff. The other places in the U.S. can be great, you know, like we've had some great shows in Denver, we've had some great shows here, but you just never know. You could come back and, you know, you get 30 people, you know, it's just, you never know.
And that relates a little bit too with the music industry. You know, everybody says it's hurting all the time, and you know, yeah, depending on the, you know, perspective you take, it's sales, if it's illegal downloading, whatever the issue might be that's affecting it. It in turn affects musicians negatively most of the time. How have you, and I say this quote unquote, how has the band survived? Because not really survived, but you know what I mean. Been there since 1999, especially, like I said, black metal band, thrash metal band, combined at the same time. How, you know, for any other musician out there watching this, or even just for any fan, how has the band survived all these years, especially within metal and within such a selective group of metal fans because of the style that you play?
It's kind of, you know, it's kind of also because of that. You know, we have a very niche, like, group of people that are into us, and, you know, it's just they've supported us for, you know, so long. And at the same time, we're not afraid to sleep in the van every night, you know. We don't do the whole fucking let's get hotels every night. We don't do the, you know, we're cheap asses on tour, man. We keep our costs down, you know. And I think a lot of bands, they start getting that money, you know, their guarantees for the shows are going up because they're getting a little bigger, but then they're just fucking spending it right away, you know, getting hotels, getting, you know, like some of them get tour buses when they really shouldn't be getting the tour buses yet. Yeah, I mean, I like living the same, but, you know, having the band get bigger, because then at the end of the tour, you get more money when you get off, you know. If you keep spending more, the more you make. It's just you're making the same amount the whole time you're in the band, you know. I think that has a lot to do with it. And also, you know, I still love doing it, you know. And that's it, you know, that's what it's all about, you know. I don't think any band will survive for very long if they're doing it just to do it.
Exactly. No, and we do. We wish you all the luck and all the longevity possible, man, because you guys kick ass, and we're actually happy, you know, that you gave us your time. Thank you so much. We always like to end up with you looking into the camera and saying any last word to your fans that they just may want to hear about it. So please go ahead. This is your time. Go for it.
Cool. I'll take this mic.
No problem.
What's up, guys? This is Joel from Toxic Holocaust. You know, if you want to come out to one of these shows, we like drugs. We like prostitutes, booze, you know, just bring anything. You know, bring your mom, your girlfriend, we'll take it all. Come on out.